to my review and overview of the Nassau battleship available from the Halloween event. I'm going to go over the stats with you, give you my opinion on what it's good at and what it's not so great at, and help you make an informed decision. You should pick this guy up before the event ends here shortly. So let's just jump right in and start with the artillery, since that's the first thing that most people look at when they check out a new battleship. So this guy's got 6 turrets with 2 guns each on them, boasting a range of 12 kilometers, which, let's be honest, that's the shortest of any other battleship in Tier 3, and with a size of 283 millimeters, also the smallest caliber of gun on any battleship in this tier. So let's just be honest, this is not the strong suit of this ship, and not what you should be relying on most heavily, but definitely a good placement for all the guns, being 2 on each side, 1 on fore, 1 on the aft. And so anyway you're going around the islands maneuvering, you're always going to have cannons available to shoot in the direction you're looking. It doesn't matter where you're going. So that there is a positive, even though cannons are slightly smaller compared to any other battleship they may be facing. Now, my opinion here, not something you should focus on. You could shore up with commanders, of course, but perhaps you want to get commanders that will boast other benefits that we'll get to in a little bit here, as you will not want to be trading shots with an Orion. It will tear you up from a distance, nor would you want to play with anything like a Kaiser. Something like that will just pierce through, and they also boast more damage on their shells than you do with yours with your smaller cannons, so you probably want to get in a little closer, and we'll move on to the next thing here. We'll get to that. As far as the dispersion goes on the shells, I found it's very similar to the Courbet, as it's very unreliable at its maximum ranges, so you do need to get a little closer to increase your probability of hitting a target. But as we mentioned before, having your shorter cannons means you're going to be getting pretty close to other targets. So you're bound to hit something eventually. Now let's move on to the positive parts of the ship here after those main cannons. That made you a bit sad probably. As you can see from the footage up above, the Nassau actually boasts some of the longest range available on any secondaries on any battleship for this tier, and boasting a whopping 26 cannons for it to fire on 7 seconds, which actually makes it a pretty nasty thing to deal with once you get in range. So in my opinion, I boosted up all the commander bonuses, everything I could get for boosting up secondary cannon power, and as you can see from the footage here, I found it works very well. Now, it does mean you're sacrificing a little bit on increased effectiveness of your primary cannons, but since I found, as mentioned, that they're already quite, well, not ineffective, but unpredictable, well, I found it very effective to have secondaries available, firing at all times at anything that gets within range. Now, let's move right on into survivability here and get this out of the way. The Nassau does boast the smallest deployment pool of any battleship in this tier. But on the other side of things, it does actually boast the heaviest armor, or the thickest armor of any battleship in this tier, which does make it quite a difficult ship to deal with once you start trying to get shots into it. So let's just finish off with some closing remarks for the Nassau after going through everything here. I do actually recommend, found it's a very fun ship to play when you're going to do a little bit of brawling and a little bit of YOLO. But you definitely want to specialize into the secondaries, because there are better ships with better primaries, namely the Orion or the Kaiser. You can definitely pick off things far better from range with those ships. But with this one, with a good commander on there and some specialization, I was easily able to get the secondaries up to 7 kilometers of range, which isn't a far cry from the 12 kilometers range on the main cannons, but it did give me a great deal of versatility on taking on other ships. Where my cannons were a little bit weaker, I was easily able to help multiple targets at the same time, creating a lot of fires and a lot of damage. As you can see from the footage above, I was able to tank off several Courbet at the same time, doing quite a lot of damage, setting some fires, and surviving the battle. Now, this was an interesting encounter, but one of many, and that tends to be how I found the Nassau battles go. if you're not taken out at long range, and if you're careful and a little bit, anticipating where the torpedoes are going to be, then you can do a good job and be a very good tank and be very irritating players for the other characters trying to take you out. Now to close this out, I found Nassau to be a very fun ship to play, a very different flavor than the other battleships in this tier. So with that said, time for me to head back out to seas there and take a few more battles and fire a few more shells. Have good luck out there, you guys, and I'll see you in the game.
Torpedoes, direct front.
Enemy destroyer blown up.
Reporting the target position. Concentrate fire on the designated target. All stations, concentrate fire on the target.
Torpedoes, direct front.
Enemy destroyer blown up.
We're hold below the waterline. We're flooding quickly. All stations, concentrate fire on the target.